I'm starting. All right, and we're live. All right, welcome to the On Deck Show, episode number 8, running March 6, 2017. The show where we talk about what is happening around the GEG Washington community, education, and technology. You can join us live on YouTube or after the show in iTunes, Google Music, or anywhere else you can find a podcast. Justin does such a great job of taking our videos every month and putting them into an MP3 format and spreading them across the web. I appreciate you doing that, Justin. I did that for so many years on so many different podcasts. I know how much time that takes. It seems so easy, just like download the MP3, but it's not as easy as it is to get everything.
It can be hard to find time, that's for sure.
That's the problem. It's finding the time, isn't it? Finding the time. So I'm glad that Justin's here with me once again. Should be great. We're just going to run down a couple things, have some conversations here, and then let you all go. Hope you had a good Monday or whatever day you're happening to be watching us or listening to us live. But I think first up, big announcement this week, Google Keep now syncs with Google Docs. Thoughts on that, Justin? Big announcement.
Well, you know, I'm intrigued by it because I love Google Keep for its simplicity. One of the things I love using Keep for is taking pictures of things and then remembering what I took a picture of, or better yet, searching by the text that's in the picture, since Keep has OCR, optical character recognition. And so one of the cool things you can do when you open up a Keep on the right-hand side of your dock is where it shows up. You can simply drag that image from your Keep into your Google Doc. That's kind of a nice functionality.
Yeah.
But I wonder, Jeff, like, if we were to explain to people, why would I need two different places where I'm entering text? Why couldn't I just open up a doc, like on my phone or something, and just start typing and make that my note-taking feature? I guess that's where my confusion kind of lies.
Yeah, I'm the same way. The only thing I see is, like, with Keep, it's the quickness on the cell phone, right? I think Keep, it really is like cell phone first.
Right.
And even with kids, like you were saying, like I use Keep very much the same way. Mine are usually pictures of all the wines that my wife and I want to try again. And because you were talking about, because you can search for text, we will take, we'll drink a good bottle of wine, we'll take a picture of the label. And then when we're back at the wine shop, we can quickly search for all the Bordeaux's, or we want to search for ones that say the word Italy or whatever it happens to be. So that is one way that I use Keep. The other thing, we use it as a grocery list because you can share a Keep note between people. Yep. And so my wife and I both put everything in the grocery list and then go to the store separately or together, and we can be checking things off and just disappear them off the sheet. As far as like the getting into a Google Doc, I think your picture idea is quite good, especially if you think of kids taking quick photos on their phone. I can see use for that. I don't know if there's a way for like a to-do list, or I just think that there's a lot of sessions I'm in, a lot of meeting sessions that I'm in personally, where we're planning to do things, and so we're making these long checklists that are much easier, again, to do like in Keep, where it's making the checklist that you might be able to then later drag that checklist into a Google Doc. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we should try that. What happens when you drag a Keep checklist, I wonder, into a doc? The other thing, perhaps, Jeff, would be the ability to annotate using just handwriting or touch.
That's a great idea.
On your phone or tablet in Keep. Like, I don't think you can just draw on a Google Doc on a touch.
No, not yet. No.
So
I wonder if it's a work. I mean, this would be a little bit of a workaround, but math teachers are always asking, how do you get kids to actually do math equations in a Google Doc? That might be something to explore, that they could go into Google Keep, use their finger or stylus on their phone, do the math problem, and then drag it into Keep or drag it into a Google Doc to turn it in. We'll have to play with that one. That's a good idea.
Interesting. Yeah.
I just haven't had enough time to play with it all. I mean, it's literally news that broke this week.
Right. I'd love some more ideas from people. If
and there was a blog post. That I threw in there as well, and this comes from Control Alt Archive. It's a tech, educational tech blog where they talk about using Google or using Keep for grading comments in docs. And so there's a great little tutorial here, a 7-minute tutorial on his idea on what that might look like for a teacher, and it's step-by-steps with little images. So we'll throw that in the show notes as well. Just another idea as people are starting to play with this new feature.
The one thing I wish, Jeff, is that, you know how you can record audio in Keep?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't you can't drag the audio from a Keep into a dock.
That'd be pretty cool.
Wouldn't that be kind of interesting?
Yet. You can't do it yet.
Yet. That's right. Yet.
Knowing Google.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to keep a growth mindset with Google. You got to finish everything with yet. Can't do it yet.
It's true.
Just don't know where it'll go, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good announcement this week that came out of Google. So that was an interesting one. I think a lot of teachers are starting to play with. Another thing I was going to just have a quick conversation about is I wrote a blog post now a couple of weeks ago, and then you and I were talking kind of in the pre-show about this, but about tech coaching is about relationships, not about tech skills. And I think both of us have been in those coaching relationships or coaching roles now, and I think you quickly learn that your tech skills are only so good that if you can build relationships with teachers to get in the classroom to support them anyway.
Yeah.
What are kind of your thoughts around that? What are some strategies that you use to build those relationships with teachers?
Well, Jeff, it really is about interpersonal relationships, I've found. And so I try not to come on too strong with people at first. I try to be more of a listener at first and understand what people's baseline is as far as, well, first of all, what kind of teacher they are, because that's going to impact the kind of things I'm going to try to lead them to want to do as far as technology and integrating that with their teaching strategies and pedagogy and whatnot. But so really taking that listening approach first, getting to know people, getting to know where they're coming from, know their story, that pays dividends for me in the long run over time, because I can refer back to the things that they care about, but even if it's their family. I mean, just taking an interest in people helps to build that trust and that rapport, so that in the future, when you do walk with them in a risk-taking adventure, they're willing to go along with you because they know you have their best interest at heart. So it really isn't about the technology per se. It's about people skills. So
and I think you hit on a good point there, where understanding that for us who are, we geek out on tech stuff, but for your average teacher, that might not be the case. They might use tech in their personal lives, or they're still struggling with understanding where does it fit in the classroom. And that idea that for them, for a lot of teachers, it really is a learning journey, and they don't just quote unquote get it the first time you show it to them. So having that relationship and supporting them through that process, I think, is a really important part. Another thing, and it'd be really interesting, this is something I've always had a debate with tech coaches or TOSAs on, because it gets really easy, I think, to work with the willing and not the all. And it's an easy struggle. It's an easy thing to fall into, that, you have teachers who are really turned on, who, as a tech TOSA or tech coach, call on you constantly, or they're your friend, or you get along well. And so next thing you know, you're helping 7 teachers and not all 17 teachers, or whatever your number happens to be. Thoughts on the idea of supporting the willing versus supporting all?
Boy, that's a challenge. I mean, it reminds me of the challenge I had in the classroom, trying to teach 35 kids in such a way that I was individualizing for each kid, as opposed to just sort of teaching to the middle and then not hitting those kids on either end of the spectrum. I don't know that I have figured it out yet, how to coach the unwilling. There's different strategies you can take, but first of all, you do have to get to know those people so that you have an in. You have to find some way to get in, and that's about listening to them and finding their interests sometimes.
Social capital.
Yeah, that's right. That social capital. So that you're making deposits in the bank. So when it comes time to take some, to ask them to do something, they're willing to do it for you. Right? I mean, I think it maybe relates to that idea that your one-time colleague Kim Cofino was talking about in Enumclaw, this idea of coaching heavy versus coaching light maybe fits into that as for sure. Because sometimes it's easy to just get into that mode of just always being on the surface and not pushing people to really be the best they can be in terms of their use of integration of technology.
And it's so tough,
I struggle with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking, when it's adult to adult, it's so different than adult to kids. And I think this is something that, I struggled with as a tech coach. I struggle with it as a consultant, is that there are different unwritten norms of the way that you treat each other as professionals, that sometimes it makes it hard to go to that heavy coaching, right? Or that deep understanding of, yeah, we're going to take a look at teaching practice and not just kind of be up here in the light area thinking about what's going on. And you know, there's a lot of things to, you know, to think about when you do that, and different ways to approach different people. I think it's interesting too, because, you know, a lot of school districts, when they're trying to roll out a tech initiative, well, you know, have set up a pilot group. And a lot of times they set up a pilot group like, well, we'll give it to the most techie teachers first. And that isn't always the case. Or we're going to spread this by, you know, we'll make the techie teachers will buy in and they'll spread it to everybody else. And that's not the way that ideas usually spread throughout a school.
Right.
I think especially tech stuff, that for some teachers has quite an incline into the technical skills of it for some.
I think it's important to know who the real influencers are in a school or in a district.
Yeah.
Irrespective of their technology will, you know.
Right.
But the people that have a high degree of social capital, if you can get them on board quickly, then you might find that they're able to spread things more quickly as well because of their social capital.
Yeah, and I think that's a good
not
thing.
always going to be people that are known for their technology use per se.
And I think that's a good thing just to remember as a tech coach as well, is like, look at your school and who has social capital in your school. You know, who are your team leaders? You know, can you somehow get into a team leader first? That gets you into a team meeting. And once you're in a team meeting, now you can start building relationships that, you know, pay off down the road. But it's such a God, it's so tough, you know, and it's not an easy role. It's not an easy role coming out of the classroom. So, you can go ahead and, if you want to, we'll put the blog post that I wrote. Feel free to leave comments or your thoughts on it as well. Also in the blog post, I link back that one of the first online courses we created when we created the company Eduro Learning was for coaches. Seeing that all 6 of us that started Eduro Learning were tech coaches at one point in time, and definitely see that need for just coaches talking to coaches and bouncing ideas off. You know, a lot of times you're the only tech TOSA, or you're the only coach in your district or in your school, and you don't have a lot of people to help you with that, you know, coaching heavy, coaching light type of idea. So feel free to give that a look as well in there. So I'm sure we'll come back to this conversation. It's a great one to have, I think, especially for the GEG Washington community. I know there's a lot of TOSAs, a lot of tech TOSAs in there, or tech coaches, and I know there's a lot of people in that community as well that, you know, wouldn't mind moving into that type of role.
That's right. That's right.
So a couple other things I just wanted to bring up real quick. I sent an announcement out in the community, but just wanted to follow up with it, that we have an exciting partnership that we've been working on for the last couple of weeks. Another company of mine, COETAIL, which stands for Certificate of Educational Technology and Information Literacy, now has partnered with Google for Education, that you can take our certificate and at the same time fulfill all your requirements to become a Google educated certified trainer. So that's been kind of a fun project to be working on. I felt honored when we got contacted by Google and said, hey, we would like to do a partnership. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. So, so COETAIL is all about the pedagogy side of things and what that looks like. And then with that, you get the tool training from the Google side of things, and you can finish it all up in one easy step. If you take COETAIL, for example, you don't have to take the level 1 education training to become a trainer, and you don't have to the videos that you create for COETAIL, you can also use for your application to become a Google certified trainer. So if that's something that interests you, you know, feel free to reach out to me, or we'll put a link again in the show notes when this goes out, or you can head over to coetail.com. That's COETAIL.com. And you can find more information there. But fun little project, and glad to be partnering with Google anytime I can. I'm honored that I now get a weekly call with people that are actually in Mountain View, and that by itself is an honor to be in different rooms around the Google campus to be in a Skype call. That's how geeky I am. I want that. That's good.
That's great.
Yeah. I did find a student today. I was going to just mention this. I was on a call talking with Central Valley School District, and they pointed me to one of their high school students. His name is Cameron, and we'll make sure you put this YouTube link in the show notes as well. But he has a YouTube channel, they were explaining it to me, where he reviews drones And he's now up to like, I want to say around 15,000 followers on his YouTube channel. And companies are now sending him drones to review, and he's now making money off of his YouTube channel. And to me, it's just another one of those things that he's been doing this now for a couple years, I think a year and a half or so, 2 years. And the school district just found out about it. They had no idea that this kid's doing this outside of school time, working on things, you know, and A, he's creating a revenue stream as a high school kid. B, you can actually make money doing this stuff. And I think we don't give kids enough credit for thinking of amazing ways. And again, this is why I've been saying for the last couple of years, I think it should be a graduation requirement. You know how to make a good how-to video. If you can make a good 3 to 5 minute how-to video, that's a game changer for somebody leaving high school, you know?
Yeah.
Golly, this is why you got to unblock. This is why you got to unblock YouTube at schools, because this stuff's just incredible what these kids can do. But make sure you go view his channel. You know, he's pretty amazing.
We sure put a lot of barriers on kids when they come into our school. I understand we have reasons for that, but at the same time, we need to strike a balance between allowing them to be their creative selves, their producing selves at school, and also with an authentic audience, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about YouTube, is you have an automatic, authentic, wider audience that you can get feedback from, that you can potentially monetize in the case of this high school student. Like, it's a real world skill he's gaining, right?
Yeah. Well, I just think when he goes to apply for universities, almost every university now asks for a URL link to somewhere on the internet. And, you know, here's a kid that can say, oh, by the way, here's my YouTube channel where I have all these videos, and they're really good quality videos. We're not talking like, I mean, the kid's obviously got some equipment. You know, he's done some really good YouTube videos, but I'm just looking at, I don't know a university that isn't going to look at this kid, what he's producing, the value added he's already giving back to the world and his community, and being like, that's not it, you know, that's the kid we want at our university. I just think there's so much power there, and you know, and you're right. I mean, there's reasons why we block stuff and schools have to do things. I get frustrated when, you know, we go one-to-one, or we have these tech-infused schools, and then we take it all away or limit kids on what they can do. You know, it's like, oh, here's a Ferrari, but you can only drive it in first gear, and you're supposed to be okay with that. And I just, you know, we start putting them inside a box to the point where all of a sudden you're like, well, that's the reason why we gave kids this amazing machine, was to do amazing stuff, and then we don't allow them to do that, and it frustrates everybody very quickly.
Yeah, I think it devalues school.
Well, for sure.
In their mind, you know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And as I talk to school districts, I tell them, I was like, you know, as soon as you start doing that, as soon as you set up an us versus them relationship, I've never had a school district come out on the winning end of this. And if you look at any one-to-one initiative that has failed, you can look at LA Unified School District, you can look at any other initiative. It's because at some point it became students versus education, and education always fails because kids will find a way around it. They'll push the barriers, and you know, any more that you can keep this as a relationship and stop it beating heads, you're going to have a successful one-to-one. And you know, that's about having those, you know, those negotiations in place. But we'll put it over there. Cameron's also made a great video for the Better Business Bureau in the Northwest, Spokane actually. And so he's got a YouTube video that he's asking for people to comment on and share to get a college scholarship. And it's a really good video on, he goes through for businesses, the difference between good reviews and bad reviews, and how do you help people leave good reviews on your website and things that you can do. So it's a really informative, infographic-y kind of video. So we'll encourage you to watch that as well. Make sure we throw that out there as well. But, yeah, and NCCE is right around the corner, Justin. I'm not going this year, but you're headed down, yeah?
Yes, so I will be arriving on midday Wednesday. I'm taking the train from Seattle to Portland. Yeah, going to be
that'd be a nice ride.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wish it was a faster ride, but it'll be kind of nice not to be driving the car and enduring the slog that often happens between here and Portland. So we are planning a meetup. Christina Wambold is one of our other GEG Washington co-facilitators, along with Jeff, myself, and Lori Curtis. Lori will not be there, but Christina and I will be there. We're planning a meetup on the evening of Thursday, March 24th. We've been looking at a couple different venues. It looks like we're going to land on a bar at the Hotel Eastland, which is across the street from the convention center. So look for an invite from me so we can kind of get a count. So a little RSVP would be appreciated. It's going to be in the evening of Thursday the 24th. Just a chance to come and socialize with people and talk about ways that you're using Google tools, ways that you're engaging kids in the classroom. That way you can kind of put a face or put a relationship to some of these people that you see posting in the community.
Yeah. It was great. We had the one here last year, and I thought that went
awesome.
quite well. We had 20, 25, 30 people show up, I think.
Yeah, it was a great turnout, and I think a good time was had by all. Yeah,
no, it's definitely, like you said, at least you get to put, like, I like walking up to people, and you have to kind of do the little square thing, like, oh, that's you. Yeah, that's what you look like, yeah. You just got to figure out who people are and what they look like. So,
I always enjoy meeting people that I've only known virtually. I really enjoy
that's crazy.
Face-to-face.
Yeah, people still ask me, people that haven't been out here, don't get the whole network world, and they're just like, that's so weird. You don't actually know them. And I was like, you know people. You can really get to know people virtually first before you ever physical them.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, very interesting.
So we have another podcast coming up. Jeff.
Yeah,
another show.
I think next Monday, I believe we're back on. We weren't able to schedule one last month, so we doubled up this month for people. So as we get ready to wrap this one up, you can we'll be back next Monday, actually, same time, about 3:30. If you happen to be hanging around, you can join us live. If not, you can always watch us afterwards. I had a couple teachers come up to me and said, I'll always one day after school gets out or something, once the kids leave and I'm grading papers, I'll just go into the community, hit play, and let you guys talk in the background. So,
perfect.
So yeah, you can either have us or you can have some jazz music. So you just get to choose. We're almost as common as jazz music.
I mean, there's Wynton Marsalis, Thelonious Monk, or there's Jeff and Justin. I don't know.
That's right. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. All right. Well, thanks for joining me again, Justin. It's always great to at least catch up and just talk about what's new in the Google world and what's around the GEG Washington and around the Pacific Northwest. But that'll do it for this podcast. We'll be back March 13th, just 1 week from today, where you can listen to us live on YouTube or later on your favorite channel, any of your podcast channels you like. You can download this again in iTunes, Google Music, or anywhere else. You can find podcasts. Just search for GEG WA or GEG WA. A big thanks to Justin for joining me again this week, and we'll do it again next week. That'll be it.
See you, everybody.
Have a good one.
Good one. Bye-bye.
All right.